that time of week again. It is it's actually August 29th, but I'm recording this for the week of August 30th. And we've had another number of significant events happen. And I'd like to say most of it seems to have toned down some, but some of the events have been pretty significant. So I'm going to skip over a few things, and I can only update where we are currently with oil prices and gold prices because the day isn't out yet. So I will. This is for the week of August 30th, and our world runs on energy. And so I'll start with the oil prices. Currently, they are at West Texas Intermediate crude is at $64.37. Brent is at $68.20. The OPEC basket is at $69.65. Gold is currently at $3,409.09. Silver is currently at $38.79. The Baltic Exchange Dry Goods Index is at $2,017. I'm going to skip over the bonds this week since they're still going. I will go straight into the military deployments. And I'll note before I get into where the U.S. Assets are, the ships around the Strait of Hormuz are continuing to pile up. The insurance companies don't want to cover ships in case something happens. Rand continues to threaten, and it's still ugly around there. And like I said, ships are piling up, both going in and coming out. ASR flights are pretty much similar to what they have been. Lots of surveillance down across the border into Mexico, and we've actually recently had some into Mexico, which is interesting because if we can see them, that means that the cartels can see them also. So that's a message if we can see the ISR flights. Of the 293 ships that are deployed, of the 293 ships in the Navy, 107 are deployed, 63 are underway. I'm going to skip through most of the ships because there's not much change to what's going on with them. Note just a few here. The George H.W. Bush returned to Norfolk, Virginia. The George Washington departed Guam and headed into the Philippine Sea for routine operations. The Gerald R. Ford has transited into the North Sea and is conducting operations. The USS Nimitz is operating in the North Arabian Sea, still with CENTCOM, the U.S. Central Command. And the one thing that really kind of struck me this week is that the USS Iwo Jima left the operation that was being conducted off the waters of Venezuela to interdict the cartels and returned home to Norfolk to avoid Hurricane Erin. Now, I'm assuming that many of the other ships also departed, but I expect that they'll be back on station before you know it. I'm going to skip the markets, and because they're still ongoing, well, actually, I guess the European markets may be out, or maybe not. Russian missiles and drones continue to strike Ukraine. I know that's a shock. This time, at least 21 were killed and dozens have been wounded. Last week, I reported that Ukraine struck an oil pipeline in Russia that fed oil to Hungary and Slovakia, or Czech Republic and Slovakia, I believe. That oil pipeline has been repaired and has resumed shipping oil to those countries. Last week, I noted that the leader of the team that destroyed the Nord Stream 2 pipeline was arrested. This week, an additional 6 people were identified. One of those was noted as having been killed in the Ukraine war. So arrest warrants have been issued for the remaining 5. Those arrest warrants were issued by Germany because the Nord Stream fed into Germany. I guess Germany is claiming responsibility. Also in Germany, military spokesman confirmed that drone flights are being conducted near Germany's bases and present a security risk. And these drone flights are either being conducted by Russian assets or by people associated with Russia. It is creating quite a concern for everybody. The row over Greenland continues as Denmark has summoned a top U.S. envoy over what they call a covert influence operation. In a surprising incident, or at least surprising for me, riot cops clashed with protesters who were hurling Molotov cocktails in Lucerne in Switzerland. The incident came about because of a 17-year-old, I kind of laugh at this, Swiss resident. He was an immigrant from Africa, and he was fleeing police. The police claim he was on a stolen scooter, and he ended up hitting a wall and died early in the morning on Sunday, despite resuscitation attempts by emergency police. It's the third death in less than 3 months in Lucerne, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, please don't kill me. And this is one of 7 deaths in the wider Vaud region since 2016. And 5 involved men of African origin. On Sunday night, last Sunday, 100 people gathered in the Prelaz neighborhood from 9:30, shooting fireworks at police and throwing Molotov cocktails. Then the following night, so Monday night, about 150 to 200 people set up roadblocks using trash containers and setting them on fire. 140 police clashed with the rioters. Also in this, there was a local councillor, Thibaut Schaller. The newspapers, I'm always laughing at, because they claim he's a right-wing anti-immigrant Swiss People's Party. He was out and about, and some members of the crowd recognized him and decided to conduct their own discussions with him. He said about 10 to 15 people chased him, beat him, but he was able to eventually get away. Over in Asia, the HMS Prince of Wales heads a 12-nation carrier strike group, and they ended up visiting the city of Tokyo for the first time that a British warship has shown up in many, many years. In China, Qinghai province, 16 workers were on a bridge in the northwest of the province when a steel cable snapped about 3 a.m. They were conducting a tensioning operation trying to set the bridge. It failed. 12 workers ended up dying when the bridge collapsed. In Indonesia, protests erupted in multiple cities and tensions soared on Friday, so this earlier today. This is after a delivery driver was allegedly run over by a police armored vehicle during clashes between the riot police and students who were protesting against lawmakers' allowances. Over in Thailand, a constitutional court on Friday dismissed Prime Minister Shinawatra. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the other name there. They claim that she violated ethics rules in a phone call with high-ranking Cambodian officials. In the Middle East, 5 journalists were among 20 people who were killed by an Israeli airstrike in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces are planning on moving forward with its plans to evacuate Gaza City. That has raised quite a bit of stir between a lot of people, including foreign nations, especially with foreign nations. But that's the method. That's what the Israelis plan on doing at the moment. The family of the Turkish president are accused of using shell companies to hide Iraqi oil transactions. We'll see where that ends up leading. Iraq, meanwhile, seeks to deport ISIS-linked detainees, but the process may take some time. In Africa, Nigeria military claimed to have killed more than 30 jihadists. In Sudan, a paramilitary group fighting against the Sudan's military shelled a besieged city in the western region of Darfur, killing at least 24 people and injuring about 55. This according to medical groups. In Gambia, local fishermen they're angry about what they call illegal encroachment and sabotage by foreign vessels off of their coast. They've been fighting, well, in one case it was an Egyptian-owned ship, Abu Islam, and in many cases they're fighting each other also. In the Americas, the operation continues off of Venezuela. We'll see where that ends up. 4,000 Marines and several Navy ships, a number of Navy ships operating off of the coast of Venezuela. In Mexico, legislators came to blows over in an argument over supporting U.S. military intervention against the cartels on Mexican soil. Another interesting development, but it just shows how high the tensions are between Mexico and, well, between Mexicans and their connections to the United States. On Wednesday, a transgender individual entered a Catholic church, killed 2 children, and wounded 17. Actually, I should say he didn't enter, he shot through a window. And it has been noted that up to 1,700 National Guard troops could reportedly be deployed to 19 states, many of them conservative states. The troops they're planning to deploy to the states of Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. Now, we continue to see things happening. This National Guard deployment, the National Guard was deployed to Washington, D.C. and over the past couple of weeks. As far as I know, they haven't had any murders, which is interesting. The police presence, the National Guard are not out there arresting anybody, but the presence is showing people that they should pay attention and follow the law. Over the past 2 weeks, as far as I know, no murders have been committed. That just shows that the lawlessness that we have seen in the past is a policy decision, and we have to be very careful about who we choose as our leaders. The concern I have with deploying National Guard troops is that it's getting people conditioned to having military in our streets. We should be good enough that we're able to follow the law at least well enough that we don't need those kinds of troops in our streets. That requires us to make the right decisions and get the right people in the positions of power. It's really up to us. I hope that you guys are doing well. Hope you're doing all right. The trade agreements continue to be worked out. And for the moment, we still seem to have a fairly secure world, unless you live in Ukraine. or Gaza. Please pay attention. Spend some time with your family and friends. Prepare for the challenges that are coming ahead. They will be here before you know it. And much love to everybody. I look forward to talking to you guys again very soon. And I hope to go out and have a very good weekend. I will talk to you guys again very soon. Thanks. Bye.